This is Dr. Anita, and we're here for another diamond moment. For those that don't know me, I'm Dr. Anita McLaughlin. I'm a transformational counselor, a mentor, a chaplain, author, entrepreneur, and you'll find out a pretty all-around fun person. We're getting to the place as we have begun this relationship so that you get an opportunity to know me better. I want you to stay with me as we examine another diamond moment. And remember this, diamonds are produced through time, heat, and pressure. The cut, size, and clarity of the diamond determine its worth. The use of the stone adds to its value. Life's diamonds are produced in the same manner. Becoming who you want to be, who you were designed to be, is a process. And a process has stages. So if you're a diamond, it's time to redefine the previous steps in your process. If you've been with me for a while, you know we've been looking at, in season 1, ourselves, looking at how to make ourselves more open to receive what we want to do in life, what we have been given to do in life. So it's very important that if you haven't done so, you go back and listen to our previous shows, from turning negatives into diamonds to having a foundation from which to move forward, how to create a major shift in your life. And so when you go back and listen to those initial broadcasts, you'll have the foundation of what's needed in the stage that we're in now, because we're beginning to put it all together. Today, I want to talk to you on the topic of listen and obey. It's not necessary that you only listen, but you also have to obey. You have to hear the instruction and not just sit on it, but actually do it. The beginning of most things require us to listen. If you're entering into a relationship, you have to listen to one another. If you go to the doctor listens to the symptoms of your complaint in order to get an understanding of what you're dealing with. So being able to listen is very, very important. We're going to go and kind of tie in to one of the other topics that we've talked about, and that is building a foundation. And I told you, if you have to have a foundation of something that's larger than yourself. For me, I told you that I believe in God. Some call it creator, source, spirit, the universe. I'm not bogged down in how you term something, but is the general understanding that I want us to connect to. So when we realize that, as we said in previous teachings, the things that we see were actually brought about by something that we can't see. I gave you the example of a chair, and that a chair as we know it was in somebody's mind before it transformed into what we can actually put our hands on. So we understand from that, the way that we think, the way that we hear can bring about a creation. I talked about the fact that a small thing can change everything. Sometimes we're looking at such monumental changes until we feel as though we're not going to be able to accomplish our goal. But sometimes you're much closer than you think in becoming, in doing, in achieving what you've hoped to achieve. But you have to listen. Now, this is the part where the spiritual side of you comes in. You have to listen, not with your head. You have to listen from your gut. And we talked about that. Being able to connect again with your authentic and true self. Because as we know, life can change us in a way that we no longer trust our authentic selves. But in order to be what God, Creator, Source, the universe intended for you to be, you have to reconnect to that source, because that is the source that will lead you in the direction that you need to go. I'm going to share with you an unusual story. I started talking about some of the things that I've experienced a couple of episodes ago. And so I want to talk to you about this because I didn't have anything prior to this experience to give me an understanding of what's going on, what's happening here. It was maybe 20 years ago, about that, maybe a little bit more. And I would wake up extremely early in the morning, toss and turn, couldn't get any rest. And so I would turn on the television, and for whatever reason, I believe it may have been the Discovery Channel or something like that, but they were showing a series on people giving birth, women giving birth, or families, husband, wife, whoever, giving birth. And every morning I would wake up and pretty much it just wasn't anything on that caught my attention or that I felt that I could look at. And this went on probably for a couple of months. Every morning I'd wake up out of the blue and have this need to turn on this channel and watch these births. I couldn't understand what that was about. I just felt it inside of me. My head is saying, why are you doing this? Turn that television off and go back to sleep. You'll get sleepy again in a minute. But my gut was telling me, look at this. Just watch it. Just look. And I began to see the show was more than just about births. It was about different types of birth, different backgrounds of the parents, different histories, different difficulties, what was faced in order for that baby to be born. Sometimes the baby wasn't well. And I began to see all of these different processes for the way things come into being. I told you, I believe in the truth of the scriptures. And I know for those of you who are Christian, there's 4 gospels, and each one of the gospels brings about, or talk about how Jesus was born. Okay? And in one version, I don't remember whether it was King James or whatever, but it said the birth of Jesus was on this wise. And it's like, this is the way his birth took place. Okay? And I began to hook that up with all of these different birthing processes that I was watching on this channel. And it just began to resonate within me that something unusual is going on here, and I need to pay attention. When we're listening for spiritual things evolve from a spiritual place. We talked about the fact that innovation has an onset. And in order for our Creator, Source, Spirit, the universe, God to guide us, we have to listen to that still small voice. So we're listening to the gut and not to the head. because this is the place that innovation and exploration comes from. Writers write from that place. Creatives create from that place. And inventors invent from this place. I want to take just a moment and stop for a second and let you know that if you'd like to talk to me personally, you can do that on Wisdom. I am a top mentor on Wisdom and just starting there, but I'm also on Clubhouse and most social media platforms. So please stop by, ask a question, and I will answer it. With that being said, I want to move forward. We talked about the fact that in my belief, we are spirit first. That which evolved from the Creator, God, the universe, source, that level of existence. We are spirit first. We have a mind, a will, and emotions. That is the soul, the area of the soul. What we want to do is not to connect the creative portion or this listening to the mind, the will, and emotions, because that is the area that holds limitations. It has its own likes, dislikes, prejudices. We can't create from the mind, will, and emotions. We have to create from a much more pure area and level, which is the spirit. It's a much larger place. The spirit doesn't have limitations. The spirit doesn't factor in the past. The spirit reveals what the will of the Creator, the universe, God, source has for us. So when we are listening, we're not listening from our mind, will, and emotions. We're listening from a gut level of source. When I go back to the story that I was just telling you about looking at these births, and I began to see all of these babies were born in different ways. Shortly thereafter, in the same way that when I was putting together the foundation and did what I had to do, laid the groundwork that I could do as a human being. And then the knock came on the door, and God, Spirit, Universe, the Creator, took over from there and delivered exactly the person who needed what He put me there to do. The same thing happened as it relates to these births. And I began to get people that I hadn't put out calls for or had no advertising or anything like that, who came to me to help them to bring life to their ideas, to their goals, to their dreams and desires. I got business people who would come and talk or call and talk to me, and I could hear where that problem was, because the shift in my perspective relating to giving birth to anything had changed, and I began to see minute issues that may have been holding them back, and I began to be able to address those things in order to help them to reach their goals. Remember, small changes change everything. Thank you for listening, and join me next time as we redefine the previous steps of your process. Never forget, becoming is a process. A process has stages. One small change changes everything. So invest in yourself. Please visit my website at www.DrAnitaMc.com. That's DrAnitaMc.com for links and additional information. And please rate the podcast if you're enjoying it.